I'll start this again. Okay, good morning, people. How are you today? Well, we've got Astra and film this time. This is an extra video. I had one extra card at the end of my Isis deck, and I thought it was going to round off on a Friday, but I misloaded a video twice somewhere along the way. And so I had this one card left over for the deck. And this is gonna be a plug-in video on a day that I'm really tired, or I'm overscheduled and I don't have time to do daily devotions, or I know that in advance I'm not gonna have the spoons to record a new one. I always do daily devotions. I want you to know that. Like, I always do a daily devotion for me. I have my virtual planner that I use here. I have all of my tarot, which is back here. So I have my tarot box. I have my Celtic devotional. I use that here. And I have my cards and my deck and everything. I have everything right here by the window for the Beltane to Lunasa season. I do it every morning. Even on Saturdays and Sundays I do it, because my husband sits on the other side of this camera and I can sit here with him and chatter away at him, or with him. So I want you to know, when I do these filler videos, I'm still doing my work. I don't want you to think that I don't. Every once in a while, I have a couple bad days in a row and I don't do them. And I've been very honest about that on this channel. I don't want you to think that I'm this perfect spiritual person that never makes a mistake and never misses daily devotions and never does blah, 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 blah. But I really, really try not to miss for you, because missing for you feels like I'm not showing up authentically for you. And that's why some of my videos are kind of like, I'm still tired, I'm not quite awake, I don't worry about doing my hair. I mean, I just show up, because if we show up for each other, some of the time that's just half the battle. So I'm not going to read Celtic devotional today, and you got my little spiel. So we're going to do the last card of the deck. This is called Wings of Isis. You have a special spiritual relationship with the angelic worlds. Part of your soul purpose is to birth angelic consciousness and values, such as fearlessness, compassion, and service, to this human culture. This oracle brings you angelic assistance and intervention and confirmation that any impressions you have and had that belong not only to the human kingdom, but also to the angelic one. You are correct. So, you have a special spiritual relationship with angelic worlds, and you are helping to birth angelic qualities of fearlessness, light, service to the greater good, and alignment of divine will to human form. This is no small task. Although you are well equipped to succeed, there are beings that wish to assist you so that you may grow too and your success be more graceful and swift. Isis, divine winged mother and goddess of angel healing, wishes to assist you with unconditional love. You are guided to accept angelic assistance and ask for Lady Isis, who loves you unconditionally, to assist you with integrating angelic energies in your consciousness and life. Give yourself permission to just let it happen. You do not need to force anything. It is a matter of softening, allowing, and trusting what feels right for you with absolute faith, bold and radical acceptance. You and others like you on this planet, though far from the majority, you occupy a special role in the evolution of human consciousness, as it connects more deeply, entwines within the natural world. The more you accept this part of you, the more you shall draw on your world others like you. You will just feel comfortable with each other because you all hold a similar refined vibration. Even amidst the ordinary, everyday relationship, there's a sense of connection, mutual understanding, and spiritual acknowledgement. I honor the light in this sacred body of mine, this body that belongs to light and nature, this body that contains consciousness of divine love. I think the thing with this card that I pull on very much so is that when I hear angels, I always, and I have since I was a little kid, I had an experience when I was little that it confused me so much because nobody would listen to me. And I didn't understand for a while why. I think I understand now as an adult, I think, but maybe I don't. I'll put that out there in the world. Maybe I'm wrong. But I had an experience. So I was going to church with my mom and my dad and my baby sister. And I think we were in Kansas and we were going to the Episcopal Church in Chapman, Kansas. I remember that. And I remember the building was beautiful. It felt really good. It felt good. It felt like it had a lot of ucky stuff there at one point, but it felt good now. Like I recognized that there was a lot of like a lot of kinetic yucky stuff, but I felt good in that place. And then we were in church service. There was a ceremony going on, and I remember really not feeling good all of a sudden. And I didn't know why I didn't feel good. It felt awful. And I knew that my primary guide he was very, very close to me, almost as though he could get between me and my sister sitting next to me and my dad being there. Like he could get around me between people. And it was the first time I had felt that. And so I was like, absolutely, come close. And he wrapped me in this wonderful hug. And the icky thing went away. It was gone. It disappeared. It never came back. But I made the mistake of telling my mother and my father about it there. When we were there, there was like an after church, everybody gets together and eats bonbons and drinks coffee. And I told my mother about it, and I don't know if it was the minister or a nun or a lay person, I have no idea. But they were like, oh, that was your angel. And I was like, no, that's my guide. And she was like, no, that's an angel. And I went, no, that's my guide. And I had names for everybody when I was little, and I'm not going to share with you what they are, but I'm only willing to share what kind they are with people. But I had names for them at one time, and I really got chastised, and I was told that that's not how the world works, that because it was at church that it had to have been an angel. And I remember being very confused. So this is where the confusion comes in. Not that I was protected, not that I have not any of what my guide did for me, not that it was at church or anything else, but my confusion laid with that people didn't understand that there are all different kinds of guides. And I use the word guide because everybody changes form into the other side. Like you have your true form. If you choose to come through as a human body in a guide form to make the person that you're connected to understand you or feel you, then that's okay. But even I understand that my primary guide, my no humor guide, could be construed as an angel through other people's perceptions, but he is his own self. And the idea that angels are even higher than your guides doesn't make sense to me, because I have been introduced through all these connections to people in my life, day in and day out. I've been introduced to all these different kinds of entities. And we all have, if you want to translate it in the way that makes sense to you in a Christian format, then of course they're all angels, 100%. If you want to translate it that way, that's fine. I just happen to have been introduced to all these amazing entities that come through in all these amazing true forms because I can accept them. There's nothing in my consciousness that judges. I have seen things that they have shown me that would probably make people very afraid, and they would assume that it's this demon, because there are some forms that are very foreign to the human form that could maybe potentially be construed as scary. But they're not scary. They're just who they are. And I have no judgments, and I don't hold on to anything. And I think that when she talks about angels in this, like wings of Isis, your connection to angelic truth is your connection to universal truth. You have guides around you that if you want to call them angels, go right ahead. Whatever suits your fancy. And there are entities in your team that, are we leaving? You have entities, angels in your team that come and go. They're not there all the time because they have other people to help too. They have multiple contracts, and they can be in multiple places in the universe and do their job. So the word angel, I translate in my head as guides every time, because there are entities that come and go. There are entities that are not tied to blueprints. They're tied to family lines. There's entities that are tied to purposes, like big pictures, like, I don't know, building the Astrodome. We'll just say that. Like, say there's an entity, this group of entities that are surrounding the building of the Superdome. So there are going to be entities that maybe those workers encountered to help them and protect them that had nothing to do with their blueprints, but had to do with the big project that was being built. There are so many different kinds of entities, and they're so busy all the time. So if you want to call them angels, go right ahead. But I always interpret, so it says the uniting of the angelic self. This is where I'm going with this. When you think about angels, if you want to use that word, understand that then you are calling yourself an angel, which is okay if you want to do that. If you want to use that language, it's 100% okay. I'm just clarifying that you are connected into universe and to source. Hence, you are an angel. You are divinely connected. If that is the definition you want to go with, then you are also an angel. And the idea that there are entities that don't ever incarnate in human form is 100% correct. There are entities that have no interest whatsoever in ever becoming human. And there are those that come here over and over and over again. And there are other kinds of entities that they're not from here and they love to come here. It's like vacation to them. It's fun. It's exciting. And there are other kinds of entities that stay the hell away because we're scary. There's all different kinds of entities in the universe, and Earth is kind of not the only one in the universe, but it's the only, again, like many entities in the universe, it's unique. And there's a lot of individual consciousness and uniqueness here that you don't get in a lot of other places. I mean, we don't have telepathy here much, so communication is always a struggle bus central. So unite with your higher self, unite with your guides, allow your journey to be connected to the universe, and trust yourself, trust your guides, talk to your guides. Your guides are never going to tell you to do a bad thing. This is the other thing. Your guides are never going to tell you to do a bad thing. They're not going to ask you to murder somebody. They're not going to ask you to hurt somebody. And they're never going to do that. That is the fear, and that is the subconscious working through something. That is your own squirrel brain based in fear, based in trauma, and sometimes karma, right? Maybe you're working through karmic wheel stuff. And if you're working through karmic wheel stuff and you have those thoughts, it could be bleed through from karmic stuff. Your guides will never ask you to act on those things, ever. that's you possibly making a choice. And there is mental health stuff that is real, and that mental health stuff, people do bad things because there's chemistry, there's something in there, there's trauma that they're working through, there's karma that they're working through. And maybe they're working through a couple past lives worth of stuff that they're having to get help from. You know, like I know a particular person. I haven't had contact with them for a while, but they are clinically schizophrenic. They clearly have a mental health issue. Now, when I look at them, I also see a karmic wheel. I see somebody who came through at a vibrational frequency that is both teaching others about mental illness, right? This person is definitely a leader in patient advocacy, and this person has really come to a place of recognition that they need their meds, they need support, that yes, these mind games that the mental health is causing is harmful to them, but also recognizing when this person came to me, they were like, I need to know, am I truly mentally handicapped or am I clairaudient? Am I hearing guides? And I'm like, yes, you're hearing your guides, but you're also mentally ill because you're working through the karma, the bleed through that you chose to have, all this ucky stuff, these crazy whatever that happens with schizophrenia. That is the mental health stuff. And there's a lot of layers in schizophrenia, just so you know. And it can be a very devastating mental health illness. And this person is working through karma in the hardest way possible with this person's schizophrenia. And at the same time, this person is able to work through the karma because of the medication that we have developed in this timeline. And this person has these amazing guides that are helping them. And no, this person doesn't have clairaudience like I do, but this person does have the ability to communicate with their guides, but couldn't get there without the medication, without getting to a place where the squirreliness was at peace enough to be able to work through that stuff. So mental health is tricky when it comes to spiritual stuff. There's a reason why those entities were often, with some of these mental health issues in different cultures and timelines, are considered sacred in some way, the sacred madness, because they had the ability to teach us in a way that was totally different than any other manifestation of shaman or healer or whatever. Their sickness was considered a blessing, depending on the culture. You know, there's a lot of cultures in the world, and some cultures didn't do that kindness to their people who had mental health issues. So just so that you know, like, we are angels. If you want to boil it down to the way people talk about angels with Christianity, we are angels. We are just in a human skin suit right now. That's why I don't generally use the word angels in any of my readings, because then I don't want to get confused with the Christian mythos of stuff. Anyway, I hope you all have a blessed day. I hope this card helps you in this time in your life. I'm going to be working on a little card with a little blip saying, hey, like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to do it in this video because I have to write it down still. And then also, I do and have started a Discord channel. So by the time this video goes up, you'll have access to that, and it'll be in the little blurb at the bottom. And the Discord channel is really very much the idea that you can come and join. It's an open community channel. Don't sell your stuff. Don't be the therapist in the room. Like, it's a place to have open discussions about what daily devotions were about, or maybe I didn't cover something and talk about something that I read in the book, or you have suggestions for oracle cards, or maybe you're doing oracle cards in the morning and you're doing a daily devotional and you want to share what you drew for that day in correlation to the card that in the video that came out. Because you probably figured out that I film these like sometimes a couple days ahead, and I can get as much as a week ahead sometimes, and I'm called to do that sometimes because I think the universe knows something's coming and I don't, and so it wants me to have enough content for you out there. And anyway, it's a place to have community, guys. So go over and join the Discord channel, and I will see you in prayer. Blessed be.